Welcome all. This is our Interfaith meeting weekly on Thursdays. This is session number 162. The purpose of this meeting is to foster the devotional character of our society and to bring understanding among various religions, the common foundation of all religions. Thereby, we try to remove the prejudice, the religious prejudice, which is one of the serious stumbling block to attain peace. Today's program, we will have of indigenous people, and then we have music, and then we will have 7 readings, and then closing music, and then we will have a talk by Dr. Ahmad Anis is one of our strong supporter of the forum, and he will be talking about template for transformation of human society. Now, regarding the indigenous people in this land, I found this particular quotation from the Universal House of Justice in the Rizwan Message 2023, relevant for here everywhere. It says there is widespread acknowledgement that the present day structures of society are ill prepared to address the needs of humanity in its current travails. Much that was widely assumed to be certain and unshakable is being questioned, and the resulting ferment is producing a longing for a unifying vision. The chorus of voices raised in support of oneness, equality, and justice shows how many share these aspirations for their societies. The indigenous people have been living in this land for more than 60,000 years, and they had their own spirituality, languages, cultures, laws, and they had special connection with the land, and they call it a spiritual connection. Somehow, with the coming of the foreigners more than 200 years ago, everything changed, and they are still looking for justice and equality and unity. So we acknowledge and pay respect to the past, present, and future traditional custodians and elders of this nation we call Australia, and continuation of cultural, spiritual, and educational practices of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. We acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander tribes were the first sovereign nations of the Australian continent. The Gadigal of Eora Nation are the traditional custodians of this place we now call Sydney, and Wangal people are the traditional owners of Burwood, where my wife Vasanda and I live. Now we are beginning the devotional part. Please mute all your microphone unless you are going to read.
Siva Placenta is here if you want to give number 8 to him.
Sorry, I won't be able to read.
Please mute your microphone.
Oh my God, anguish of my soul. Ooh. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God, ooh, ooh. My heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love. I solemnly declare my life and death are both for thee. Ooh, they are for you. My heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love. I solemnly declare my life and death are both for thee. Ooh, they are for you. They are for you. For you. Oh my God, there is no one but thee to allay the anguish of my soul. Ooh. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God, ooh, ooh.
In thine esteemed letter, thou hast inquired which of the prophets of God should be regarded as superior to others. Know thou assuredly that the essence of all the prophets of God is one and the same. Their unity is absolute. God the Creator saith, "There is no distinction whatsoever among the bearers of my message. They all have but one purpose. Their secret is the same secret. To prefer one in honor to another, to exalt certain ones above the rest, is in no wise to be permitted. Every true prophet has regarded his message as fundamentally the same as the revelation of every other prophet gone before him. If any man, therefore, should fail to comprehend this truth, and should consequently indulge in vain and unseemly language, no one whose sight is keen and whose understanding is enlightened would ever allow such idle talk to cause him to waver in his belief. Baha Scripture.
The measure of revelation of the prophets of God in this world, however, must differ. Each and every one of them had been the bearer of a distinct message, and had been commissioned to reveal himself through specific acts. It is for this reason that they appear to vary in their greatness. Their revelation may be likened unto the light of the moon that sheddeth its radiance upon the earth. Though every time it appeareth, it revealeth a fresh measure of its brightness, yet its inherent splendor can never diminish, nor can its light suffer extinction. The fundamental purpose animating the faith of God and his religion is to safeguard the interest and promote the unity of the human race. The religion of God is for love and unity. Make it not the cause of enmity or dissension. Religion is verily the chief instrument for the establishment of order in the world and of tranquility among its peoples. Religion, moreover, is not a series of beliefs, a set of customs. Religion is the teachings of the Lord God, teachings which constitute the very life of humankind, which urge high thoughts upon mind, refine the character, and lay the groundwork for man's everlasting honor. Baha'i Scriptures.
We gave Moses the book and followed him up with a session of messengers. We gave Jesus, the Son of Mary, clear signs and strengthened him with the Holy Spirit. Is it that whenever there comes to you a messenger with what ye yourself desire not, ye are puffed up with pride? Some ye called impostors, and others ye stay. The messenger believed in what has been revealed to him from his Lord, as do the men of faith. Each one of them believed in Allah, his angels, his books, and his messengers. We make no distinction, they say, between one and another of his messengers. And they say, we hear and we obey. We seek thy forgiveness, our Lord. And to thee is the end of all journey. The Quran.
Long-suffering patience is the supreme ascetic practice. Nirvana is supreme, say the Buddhas. He is certainly not an ascetic who hurts others, and nor is he a man of religion who causes suffering to others. The bhikkhu who lives full of goodwill with faith in the religion of the Buddha, he will reach the place of peace, the satisfaction of stilling the functions of the mind. Buddhist scriptures. Whenever there is a decline in righteousness, O Bharat, and the rise of irreligion, it is then that I send forth my spirit for the salvation of the good, the destruction of the evildoers, and for firmly establishing righteousness. I manifest myself from age to age. Hindu scriptures.
If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. I will not leave you comfortless, I will come to you. But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away, for if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. He shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak. Christian Scriptures.
The purpose of the one true God is so to be his glory, in revealing himself unto men, is to lay bare those germs that lie hidden within the mind of their true and inmost selves. Thus the diverse communions of the earth and the manifold systems of religious belief should never be allowed to foster the feelings of animosity among men. Is in this day of the sense of the faith of God and his religion. These principles and laws, if firmly established in mighty systems, have proceeded from one source, another rays of one light. That they differ one from another is to be attributed to the varying requirements of the ages in which they were promulgated. The prophets of God should be regarded as physicians whose task is to foster the well-being of the world and his peoples, that through the spirit of oneness they may heal the sickness of a divided humanity. Little wonder, then, if the treatment prescribed by the physician in these days should not be found to be identical with that which he prescribed before. How could it be otherwise when the ills affecting the sufferers necessitate at every stage of his sickness the special remedies? Baha'i Scriptures.
The differences among the religions of the world are due to the varying types of minds. So long as the powers of the mind are various, it is certain that men's judgments and opinions will differ one from another. If, however, one single, universal, perceptive power be introduced, a power encompassing all the rest, those differing opinions will merge, and a spiritual harmony and oneness will become apparent. For example, when the Christ was made manifest, the minds of the various contemporary peoples, their views, their emotional attitudes, whether they were Romans, Greeks, Syrians, Israelites, or others, were at variance with one another. But once his universal power was brought to bear, it gradually succeeded, after the lapse of 300 years, in gathering together all those divergent minds under the protection and within the governance of one central point, all sharing the same spiritual emotions in their hearts. Baha'i Scriptures.
Unite and bind together the hearts unite and bind together the hearts join in accord all the souls join in accord all the souls. Oh Lord, make these faces radiant through the light of thy oneness. Unite and bind together the hearts. Unite and bind together join in accord all the souls join in accord all the souls. Oh Lord, make these faces radiant through the light of thy oneness. Unite and bind together join in accord all the souls. Oh Lord, make these faces radiant through the light of thy oneness. Unite and bind together the hearts. Unite and bind together the hearts.
Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed the story readings and the music. And we now invite Dr. Ahmed Anis to give his presentation on the topic Template for Transformation of Human Society. Ahmed is one of the strong supporters of our Interfaith Forum, and he has given talks in the past as well. So I don't need to give any more introduction. So Ahmed, it's yours.
Okay, thanks. Let me share my screen first, so that you can see my PowerPoint.
Yes.
Now, I won't call this a talk because I didn't have much time. I would like to call it a facilitation of reading of a message. Now, as you know, I'm a Baha'i and I follow Baha'i faith. The Universal House of Justice, the international body of the Baha'is, recently in November last year, sent a message to the world that is very long, but very important. And it's based on transformation of individual, society, and governing institutions. Now, what I've done is selected some bullet point paragraphs out of this long message, which is 28 pages. And I'm going to present those and maybe we read together. I try to read most of them, but I can ask others to read those paragraphs. Now, I've made 17 slides. Sibo suggested that we divide it into 2 sections. So let's see how we go, how far we can go to read these passages and talk about them. If the time didn't allow, we can postpone the rest of it for another time. But basically, these paragraphs from that message are about transformation, which Siva requested we talk about transformation of individual. So the title of the talk is The Pattern for Transformation of Individual, Society, and Governing Institutions. This message from Universal House of Justice is 28 pages. It starts with a lot of early paragraphs with history of the Baha'i faith and its progress. So I have removed those sections, but I have extracted the sections that are important regarding transformation of these 3 protagonists. So I go through them one by one. Maybe I will ask people to read those sections as well. Now, the first one, it says, this paragraph: the task of building a mature, peaceful, just, and united world is a vast undertaking in which every people and nations must be able to participate. The Baha'i community welcomes all to join in this endeavor as protagonists in a spiritual enterprise that can overcome the forces of disintegration, eroding the old social order, and give tangible form to an integrative process that will lead to the unfoldment of a new order in its state. Baha'u'llah says that we are at a very critical point in progress of humanity. And this point, there is destruction coming from the old order and formation of a new world order. So the Universal House of Justice is talking about these 2 factors that are happening at all time. Individuals must deepen their understandings of the meaning and implications of revealed words of manifestations of God and systematically cultivate capacity, their own and that of others, in order to put into practice these teachings for the betterment of the world. So that's a prerequisite of these individuals all over the world must get together, read the words of manifestation of God, and come into a common modality. So our forum is trying to do that. Then they say individuals must know the dialectic of crisis and victory, preparing them for the tortuous path they must traverse. They must refine their characters and hone their minds to meet the challenge of the building a new world. They must not despair when encountering the problems of a nascent and rapidly evolving community, or the privation and deteriorating milieu of a tumultuous age. As Baha'u'llah said, we are in that critical place. The world order is disintegrating, and a new world order is forming instead of it. And as a result, there is chaos, deterioration of life, and they also mention these in further paragraphs. Now, universal social justice says the community must be distinguished by a mode of operation characterized by study, consultation, action, and reflection. It should steadily increase its capacity to apply those teachings in a variety of social spaces and to collaborate with those in the wider society who share a yearning to revitalize the material and the spiritual foundations of a social order. They also say individuals and communities become protagonists of their own development. An embrace of the oneness of humanity banishes prejudice and otherness. The spiritual dimension of human life is fostered through adherence to principle and a strengthening of the community's devotional character, and the capacity for learning is developed and directed towards personal and social transformation. Now, as I said, universal social justice are talking in this message about three different entities: the individuals in the society itself, and the institutions that govern that society. Now, in these paragraphs, we're trying to characterize what an individual has to do in order to participate in this coherent three-section society. Then they say, history has amply demonstrated that religion can serve either as a powerful instrument for cooperation to propel the advancement of civilization, or as a source of conflict that yields incalculable harm. The unifying and civilizing power of religion begins to decline as the followers come to disagree on the meaning and application of the divine teachings, and the community of the faithful eventually becomes divided into contending sects and denominations. And we can see that in the past religions. All the past religions have divided into sects. And the reason is this paragraph, that they have differing views about the words of God in their faith. The universal social justice said we should avoid that. There are means of avoiding that. Now, they have a section on translating what is written into reality and action. Baha'u'llah's purpose is to usher in a new stage in human development, the organic and spiritual unity of the peoples and nations of the world, signalizing thereby the coming of age of the human race, and characterized in the fullness of time by the emergence of a world civilization and culture. To this end, he revealed his teachings for the inner and outer transformation of human life. Now, a quote from him, he says, "Every verse which this pen had revealed is a bright and shining portal that discloseth the glories of a saintly and pious life of pure and stainless deeds. That's the character that an individual has to have in order to live in this new society. And in countless tablets, he, the divine physician, diagnosed the ills afflicting humanity and set forth his healing remedy for the elevation and advancement, the education, the protection, and the regeneration of the peoples of the earth. And this is the purpose of Baha'u'llah's coming, to unite mankind and elevate this civilization into new world order. Baha'u'llah explains, the summons and the messages we gave were never intended to reach or to benefit one land or one people only. It is incumbent upon every man of insight and understanding to strive to translate that which had been written into reality and action. Blessed and happy is he that arises to promote the best interests of the peoples and kindreds of the earth. That should be the service of our lives in this age. Now, the universal justice goes to the second section, which is the community. This community, the people of Baha, now millions strong, has today spread to some 100,000 localities in 235 countries and territories. It has emerged from obscurity to occupy its place on the world stage. It has raised a network of thousands of institutions from the grassroots to the international level, uniting diverse peoples in the common purpose of spiritual transformation and social progress. This is what is happening to the Baha'i community. We are establishing these institutions from grassroots to an international level to establish world unity. In many a region, its pattern of building vibrant local communities has embraced thousands and in some tens of thousands of souls. In such settings, a new way of life is taking shape, distinguished by its devotional character, the commitment of youth to education and service, the purposeful conversation among families, friends, and acquaintances on themes of spiritual and social importance and collective endeavors for material and social progress. Now, Baha'i is trying to endeavor to bring these things, these characteristic things that are important into fruition. They're doing youth education, conversations about family, and spiritual and social important facts. Now, they go about covenant of God. We know that all the faiths have covenant in it. Baha'i faith is not different. Baha'i faith has a covenant with God. The covenant with God is the teachings of manifestations of God, protects and preserves the process of dialogue and learning about the meaning of the revelation and the implementation of its prescription for humankind over the course of the dispensation, avoiding the detrimental effects of endless contention about meaning and practice. Now that's the center of everything. The covenant of God protects us from diversifying our views. As a result, the balanced relationship from individuals, communities, and institutions are safeguarded and developed along the proper path, while all are enabled to attain to their full potential and exercise their agency and prerogatives. Thus, the community can unitedly advance and increasingly fulfill its vital purpose by investigating reality and generality knowledge, extending the reach of its endeavors and contributing to the advancement of civilizations. So everyone is free to express their views, but based on guidelines of the teachings of the faith, teachings that Baha'u'llah has brought. Now, Then they go on the third section, which is the administrative order. And they title it The Unfoldment of the Administrative Order. They say the emergence and development of the administrative order, the child of that covenant, in a single century, the administration, which began with a focus on the establishment of elected institutions, grew in breadth and complexity, unfolding throughout the world until it linked all peoples, countries, and regions. This is happening in the world. Baha'is are establishing these institutions all over the world that are integrated at the same time localized. The writings of Baha'u'llah and Abdul-Baha that called these institutions into being also provide the vision and a spiritual mandate for these institutions to assist humanity in constructing a just and peaceful world. And that's the purpose, to establish a peaceful world through these institutions. Through the administrative order of his faith, Baha'u'llah has associated individuals, communities, and institutions as protagonists in the system without precedent. In keeping with the needs of an age of human maturity, he abrogated the historical practice whereby ecclesiastics held the reign of religious authority, instructing the community of the faithful and directing its affairs. So in Baha'i faith, there's no ecclesiastic group. Institutions are replacing that group. In order to prevent the contest of competing ideologies, he set out the means for cooperation in the search for truth and pursuit of human well-being. One of the prerequisite important laws of Baha'i faith is searching after the truth. And every individual is requested to search through all the faiths, all the writings that have come from God, and to extract that truth that is common to humanity. In place of quest for power over others, which is happening in our common society's order, he introduced arrangements that would cultivate the individual's latent powers and their expression in service to the common good. Trustworthiness, truthfulness, certitude of conduct, forbearance, love, and unity are among the spiritual qualities that form the basis of association between the three protagonists of a new way of life, while efforts for social advancement are all shaped by Baha'u'llah's vision of the oneness of humanity. And we now see too often that these attributes are missing in the institutions of the world. Now, Baha'u'llah says that these three groups, the individual, the society, and the institutions, must try these spiritual attributes or have these spiritual attributes in order to bring the oneness of mankind. So we have to endeavor in these spiritual attributes. They also say, over the century, let me say a little bit about this century. Baha'i faith is about 180 years old. Now, part of it was revelation time, but since ascension of Abdul-Baha, the son of Baha'u'llah, about 100 years has passed. And they're talking about, in these paragraphs, they're talking about these 100 years that have passed, what has happened in the world. Over the century, then through a series of developmental stages, the relationship among individuals, communities, and institutions have progressively evolved into ever more complex forms. And the foundations of the administration have been extended, its methods continually adopted, and arrangements for collaboration clarified and continually refined. What began at the start of the first century of the formative age as a network of elected bodies had become, by the end of that century, a vast constellation of institutions and agencies stretching from the grassroots to the international level uniting the Baha'i world in thought and action within a common enterprise across a diversity of cultural context and social settings. This is what's happening with the Baha'i faith. We are trying to bring the world together through thought and action into a common enterprise of diversity of culture, but at the same time, unity. Now, they also say, today, although the administration has not yet reached its full maturity, because it's very new, the system inaugurated by Baha'u'llah evinces a new pattern of interactions and a marked dynamism in the relationship among the three protagonists as they engage in the common purpose of working for the organic development of the faith and the betterment of the world. So there are two factors in here. The Baha'is are trying to develop their faith as a world religion, but at the same time, they are trying to help the betterment of the world. In the company of like-minded co-workers and in the various settings of study, of reflection, and of numerous other social interactions, individuals express their views and seek out the truth through a process of consultation without insisting upon the correctness of their own ideas. Together, they read the reality of their surroundings, explore the depths of available guidance, draw relevant insights from the teachings, and from accumulating experience, create cooperative and spiritually uplifted environments, build capacity, and initiate action that grows in effectiveness and complexity over time. They attempt to differentiate those, they attempt to differentiate those areas of activity in which the individual can best exercise initiative from those which fall to the institutions alone. And with heart and soul, they welcome the guidance and direction of their institutions. Now, these spiritual uplifting environments are the things that individuals have to build at the same time with the direction, guidance of the institutions. Baha'is are free to express their views as long as it's related to the writings of the faith and the betterment of the world. Across advanced clusters and within villages, sorry, let me just drink a little bit because my mouth is dry. Now, let me, before saying this paragraph, say that Baha'is institutions work into clusters, and the way the Baha'i faith is developed is in clusters of different places in the world. So the word, this cluster, is very common in the faith. Across advanced clusters and within villages and neighborhoods that are centers of intense activity, community emerges with a sense of common identity, will, and purpose, providing an environment for nurturing the capacity of individuals and uniting them in a range of complementary and mutual reinforcing activities that welcome all and seek to uplift everyone. Such communities are increasingly becoming distinguished by the sense of unity among their members, their freedom from prejudice of all kinds, their devotional character, their common commitment to the equality of women and men, their selfless service to humanity, their educational process and cultivation of virtue, and the capacity to systematically learn and contribute to the material, social, and the spiritual progress of society. These are the important factors that are being developed that would be the character of a new world order. The world order should have a devotional character, commitment to equality of men and women, selflessness in service to humanity. Today, the most important thing is service to humanity. Education, cultivation of virtues, capacity building, and contributing to the world order. Those community members called upon to serve on institutions endeavor to be conscious of their duty to set aside their own likes and dislikes, to never consider themselves to be the center, ornament of the cause, or superior to others, and to eschew any attempt to exercise control over the thoughts and actions of the believers. In carrying out their responsibilities, the institutions facilitate creative and collective exchanges among all elements of the community and strive to build consciousness to overcome challenges, to foster spiritual health and vitality, and to determine through experience the most effective ways to pursue the community's aim and purposes. Through various means, including the establishment of educational agencies, they help foster the spiritual and intellectual development of the believers. Now, if we see the institutions that govern the world today, they're really not doing this. They're self-centered. The benefits go to a certain section of the community, not to everyone. Whereas the Baha'i faith, the people that are members of the institutions will try, even if they're not completely well done, they try to present these characters in order to serve the humanity, serve the individuals, rather than being powering the individuals.
Ahmed, I think
Yeah.
you're tired of reading.
Yes, yeah. I was going to say maybe I can ask others to read this other sections.
No, I think because you have given a lot of information for the people to digest and ask questions and discuss.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be the part one, and you can give a part two next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me watch section. I've done about half of it. That's good. We can stop here.
Yes, and important thing is that for us to understand and assimilate some of these great ideas.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things that you have presented, and
Absolutely.
some of us may have read this document, and some of us have not, or only glanced through.
I
So
suggest that if they don't have it, go to the Baha'i World Library on the Universal House of Messages, and it would be there.
okay, so can we open this for question and discussion? And anyone? Or
I'll leave my presentation on so that we can refer to it if you want, or I'll just go out. I don't know. What do you think?
yeah, you can go out, and if the questions are related to certain things, and if you know which slide that they are talking about, then you can go it back. Yes, Colin.
Thank you, Ahmed. I have read parts of that message, and it is definitely quite a profound one, and I think it's also preparing the Baha'i world and everyone who's associated with it for interesting tests and challenges in the future. My question is, like the topic of tonight's talk is about transformation of society, which obviously means transformation of individuals. And I'm an individual, and I find transformation is rather difficult. In fact, the whole world seems very hard to change. Habits are there. We're stuck with whatever upbringing we had. We might get a gym subscription and go once and never again. And the same with the spiritual exercise. You know, we obviously make an effort. So what what would cause a transformation in the individual? What makes the change?
Well, first of all, I have to say that this message is not for transformation of just the society. It's transformation of these three different protagonists. They have to go hand by hand. The individual in the society itself, and the institutions that govern that society. So we cannot have one without the other. So these three have to go hand in hand. The other thing is that the certain spiritual attributes that one has to acquire in order to flow with this, I would say, the river of advancement of these three protagonists. And it was in that message, trustworthiness, love for your neighbor, a number of things, equality of men and women. So those spiritual qualities are important. And if we do not start grasping those spiritual qualities, the world unity will not happen. Individual has to try to increase their capacity in those spiritual qualities. The society as a whole has to do that. Institutions of the world have to try to better themselves in those spiritual qualities. We see, as we say, the world is chaotic at the moment. Obviously, it is. We are at a point, as Baha'u'llah says, a critical point between world order disintegration and formation of a new world order. Now, we see both of them. The Universal Justice in this message say there are evidences for both of these things. There are things in the world that are disintegrating the society, and they are based on old world order. Greed, for example, of materialism. It's destroying us. Our power, gas, electricity, water is keep going on because of greed. It's not because they've lost power. Obviously, there's more people to go with to share, but a lot of it's greed, which is another spiritual quality, and people are gripped with this. So at the same time, the institutions of the world, they serve part of the society, not all of the society. Universal Justice says that we have to look at all the society, not have others in the society. So it's important the society changes its formation to grasp that all are important. Every individual is important in the world, not West or East, or wealthy or the poor. So we have to bring this concept of oneness of individuals in the world. So that's what individuals have to do, increase their capacity in those spiritual qualities.
It sounds, I agree with my head, but it's a bit like a gym membership. Where does the motivation come from? Who's going to enkindle me? I can't enkindle myself.
Well, let me put this way. When you put a drop of ink into water, that ink gradually overcomes the whole body of that glass of water, for example. Yeah. So if you have a glass of water like this, and if I drop one drop of ink into it, it will gradually expand and cover the whole volume of water. Now, Baha'is are trying to do that, dropping that ink into the society. That ink is the writings of Baha'u'llah in action. So if we drop that ink into the water of society, gradually it will take over the volume. And when it becomes critical mass, it will take over the whole volume. So we believe that these concepts that Baha'u'llah has brought would eventually spread all over the world. These institutions and these three and protagonist groups would develop in a form that would unite the mankind. So we see at the moment, we are at the point where we can't see the future. We are in the point where the two, the destruction of the old order and the formation of the new order are going hand by hand. So visioning the outcome is very, very far. It's like we are at the time of dropping that drop of ink into the water. So
Can I just add a thought to make it more interesting to people who aren't Baha'is?
Yeah.
I think we want to experience this straight away. And I think one of the attractive things about Baha'i teachings is that we can experience the most great peace now in our home or in our neighborhood in a devotional gathering. And we can experience nearness to God and transformation now if we submit to
Baha'is are trying to build that model, and it's happening. If you are a Baha'i, you go from one country to another country, you straight away you can go to their feast, you can be friendly with everyone, they take you, welcome you, and that is the structure that the Baha'is are building, and hopefully it will spread to the society of the world.
And there's somewhere in there must be love, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. It was one of those listed in the message. Spiritual qualities are very important. Love for your neighbor, equality of men and women, or trustworthiness, truthfulness, the qualities that should be taught to the children from the beginning.
I agree. Thank you.
Yun.
Thank you, Yun.
You're muted.
Thank you. I like all the ideas that you have read through. I think they're fantastic, and they're not the first time that I heard about them. But this is my view. I want to ask you a personal question between a Catholic and a Baha'i. Do you believe in the authority of the Pope? The Pope, the Vatican, because according to the Pope and the Vatican, the Pope is the father of the church, and he replaced the status of Jesus. So if you're looking for collaborative effort, so people can have oneness of humankind, will you as a Baha'i accept the authority of the Pope?
Yeah. So first of all, I have to say, if you become a Baha'i, you do not lose your previous faith if you are from another faith. Baha'is believe that all faiths are from God. So me as a Baha'i, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Christian, I'm a Zoroastrian, because I accept all those faiths, I am those faiths as well. I'm followers of those faiths as well.
Because you said, excuse me, you said about new order, formatting a formulation of a new order. We have a new world order all the time. The only problem that we bomb them out by bomb, by nuclear, by whatever, and then we start rebuild a new world order. And now to talk about the protagonists, three group of people, we had to start with the children. The children as individual, and then society, and then institution. But at the moment, most of the children in the other area of the world, they displace no education, no food, starvation, everything. So your vision about the future is going to be like 100,000 years away ahead, 100,000 years, because you rely on these children who now at the moment, no food, no clothes, no education, no study, nothing, no house, no mom and dad, nobody. So what are we talking about here?
Yun, let me finish my answer to your first question. Then I'll come with those questions as well. Now, you said, do I believe in Pope or not? Yes, I do. I believe in Pope, but I look at it as an institution that was in Christianity. Now, I believe a new revelation from God has come. Baha'u'llah is a manifestation of God, my belief, that has come for this age. So whatever he says, when Christ annulled the Jews' day of rest, and he changed it, he, as a manifestation of God, had authority over all people, all Jews as well. So he was a new manifestation of God, and he administered a change in the day of rest. And his followers followed him. Now, I believe Pope, as the leader of the Christianity, when Christianity was in its own time, and as a person that believes a new manifestation of God has come, I have to follow what the new manifestation says. The new manifestation, as he has stated, as already in this statement from Universal House of Justice, annulled ecclesiastic authority. Okay, it's like Christ annulling the day of rest. So Baha'u'llah has annulled ecclesiastic authority. So as he, in my belief, is a manifestation of God, the authority of Pope is annulled now. Although he is there at the moment, he is part of the old order. Now, coming to your second questions, or your multiplied questions, the second thing, you said about people are talking about New World Order. What is talked about New World Order in the society is totally different to what Baha'is call a New World Order. As I described in this message, we are trying to build a community with establishment of these three protagonists, individual, society, and institutions, and in a totally new way, not comparable to what is in existence now. You have to have in your mind that we are talking about the time of dropping that ink into the water glass. So we cannot see the future. We don't know when this would happen, when that water would cover the whole volume. Now, you have to remind you that the walling wall was there from the World War II to our generation, and it came down within 1 week. Not even 1 week. It came down within 2 or 3 days. People went there and cut pieces of that wall. Eventually, they bulldozed that wall. Within 1 week, it came down. So we don't know when and what will happen. If you say it will take hundreds of years of this to happen, maybe. But I believe that it's not in that form. When the critical mass happens, it will, that ink drop, when it happens, it will gradually overcome the whole glass. And this is what will happen. It does not have time. It could be in a short time, or it could be hundreds of years from now. But eventuality of it, it's there. Humanity has to go that way, uniting as a world body, destroying these countries, abolishing all these old order authorities, establishing a new way of life, establishing based on these three protagonists and in a spiritual character.
The only thing I see, once we reach peace and unity and love, we will have nothing to do. Then
we have a lot to
nothing else
do.
to do.
No,
So
we
that
have
will
a,
be
we
boring.
have a lot to do. Increase our capacity in these spiritual qualities. Greed is taking over today's society. You know, me go out, I see a rush of cars. They have all the top new cars in here. Yeah. Greed is taking over. We have to try to remove all these bad qualities that are happening in the society. We have to go towards trustworthiness, towards,
Okay.
equality, towards
And,
sharing our wealth.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
We have to see how, I mean, this is an interfaith forum where we want to bring understanding of different religions and how we can collectively understand where humanity is going, how it is going, how we can bring about this peace and unity. So I'll share your screen and I'll show the quotation. This one in the second paragraph. Individual must deepen their understanding of the meaning and implications of revealed words of manifestations of God. They are put manifestations of God.
Well,
And
actually, I've added that because it says revealed words of Baha'u'llah. I've changed it for this forum to of manifestations of God.
So I appreciate that. That's a good way that you have put it there. And systematically cultivate capacity, their own and that of others, in order to put into practice these teachings for the betterment of the world. Now, so if we look at this paragraph,
But hang on, Siva,
yeah.
in one of the other paragraphs, they say that the concepts that all manifestations are bringing are one. So we have to look for or find those concepts that are common in among us and
Sure.
build on those things.
Yes.
Cultivate our capacity.
Yeah. My question is how we as a group or this forum, how we can systematically cultivate capacity, their own and that of others, in order to put into practice these teachings for the betterment of the world.
Yeah, well, the teachings that they're talking about, practicing those teachings, the teachings are like trustworthiness, love of your neighbor. These are common things in all faiths. And you have to grasp those teachings that are common in us. First of all, I have to say all teachings of all faiths are two kinds. One are spiritual, one administrative or way of life. And for how to pray, how to wash yourself and things like that. The section that is spiritual is common in all faiths. If you look at carefully, there are two aspects. The aspect which is spiritual qualities is common in all of our faiths. That's our common basis. But the things that are changed are like having a pope or having a religious clergy mujtahid or ayatollah. These are the things that are administrative and are physical aspects of humanity. And those are different. And in my view, they're based on the time that they have come. So as a group, as us, as an interfaith group, we have to build on those spiritual qualities that are common among us. Try to be faithful with each other, trustworthy, build all these capacities. They listed a number of them. I'll just remember 2 or 3 of them, but there's a list of them in that presentation.
Yes.
If you go through, they mention all these things that are important in building the capacity of individual to serve humanity, building the society as a world society and building institutions that would serve the society rather than, taking care of a group or themselves.
Okay, thank you. And I have another question, and I like the other friends here also to contribute to this discussion. This is from your next slide. That was slide number 3, or the second one. History has amply demonstrated that religion can serve either as a powerful instrument for cooperation to propel the advancement of civilization, or as a source of conflict that yields incalculable harm. The unifying and civilizing power of religion begins to decline as the followers come to disagree on the meaning and application of the divine teachings, and the community of the faithful eventually becomes divided into contending sects and denominations. Now,
So what was the question?
the question is there in the history has it demonstrated amply, it says amply demonstrated, what are some of the examples, and how it is in this juncture of the humanities, how it is playing out, and as a group, how we should look at this so that we don't become divided in our understanding.
Yeah. Now, look, when they say history, they go through all these different times that various religions have come and look at it. For example, just to my mind, we could look at the time when Christians and Muslims fought in Jerusalem. Many wars happened then. Sometimes the Christians won, sometimes the Muslims won. Religion, as they say, has got these two heads. It could cause conflict in civilization, and it could unite and civilize mankind. Now, at the end of that paragraph, they're talking about why there is division between, even within a religion. They divide because they look at the divine teachings and they bring their own interpretations into it. So that's what has happened in the past religions. We see Christianity in many sects. We see Muslims in many sects, Hindus, Buddhists in many sects. So that is what has happened because of the thought diversity of interpreting the thought of the faith. Now, in that paragraph, they're saying that religion is actually good. It's not the source of conflict. It becomes a source of conflict by people using religion to cause conflict. Now, in our time, for example, now we see Jews and Muslims are fighting at the moment. Now, the purpose of religion is uniting the two together. They lived together in the past. Baha'is and Muslims in Iran used to live together in the past, but some radicals have destroyed that path. So we have to be very careful. Yes, religion can cause conflict, but it's not the religion, it's the use of religion that causes conflict. So there is that two head. There's no question to that. History has shown that.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I just.
But let me finish with what you said, your answer to your question. Us as a forum for interfaith, we have to be faithful to the spiritual qualities that our faith brings to the society. And because those spiritual qualities are common in all faiths, that's the point of harmony between us. that should be the points that we concentrate on.
Thank you. And I just want to add that we are reading these quotations many times. And today we read this one. We have read this in the past too. It says, the purpose of one true God, exalted be his glory, in revealing himself unto men is to lay bare those gems lie hidden within the mind of their true and inmost selves. That's what the virtues that you were talking about. That the diverse communions of the earth and the manifold systems of religious belief should never be allowed to foster the feelings of animosity among men, is in this day of the essence of the faith of God and his religion. So the diverse manifold systems of religious belief, it is going to be there for a long period of time, but we should not allow that to bring animosity among us.
Exactly.
These principles.
Our forum should be based on this, fostering the feelings that would avoid animosity among men.
Yes, these principles and laws, these firmly established and mighty systems, I think that they are referring to all the different religious belief systems, have proceeded from one source and are the rays of one light. That they differ from one another is to be attributed to the varying requirements of the ages in which they are promulgated.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things. And the other quotation that we also read, I think here it says, for example, when the Christ was made manifest, the minds of the various contemporary peoples, their views, their emotional attitudes, whether they were Romans, Greeks, Syrians, Israelites, and others, were at variance with one another. But once his universal power was brought to bear, it gradually succeeded. I think this is one of the examples of where they mentioned that the religion was a power of to unify and progress.
And it says here it took a lapse of 300 years for Christianity becoming the ruling religion of the world. So we don't know when this drop of ink that has dropped into the water would cover the whole world.
Okay, Vasanta and then Jung. And if there are anyone else has any questions or comments, please put your hand now and be brief. Okay.
I thought Perumal also put his.
So what did you say? Sorry.
Give me. I
Okay.
Sorry.
I think Perumal also put his hand. I think he has come out now. Ahmed, please excuse me. I don't know. I may have missed something. Maybe I am asking whatever you have already mentioned.
Yeah.
That's how, whether you mention anything about how Baha'is are working to bring about this transformation within the society, and also how they are working with other religious organization or other like-minded organization, whether you mention anything about that, or is there anything that you can share?
In this message, first of all, Universal suggests that what the Baha'is are doing, but at the same time, they say that they're welcoming people of similar thought, I don't know whether Siva can bring that paragraph on the screen. So Baha'is are trying to work with other groups of people in the society which have alignment with thoughts that Baha'i faith is presenting. So obviously there are these groups that try to unite mankind. I mean, one of them is Church of Unity. She's got very similar thoughts to Baha'is from Christianity. that we Baha'is always collaborate with them. So yeah, there are times or places that there is collaboration happening at the moment. Obviously in a small amount because the Baha'i faith is young and it's developing. So it's spread in these activities are not great yet, but it is flourishing.
Thank you. And Perumal, would you like to say your comment before I give it to Young?
Okay, one thing I would like to say, when we talk about this, we must talk about inclusiveness of everyone,
Yeah,
not exclusiveness.
yes.
That
It was
is important. Brother Siva, just now you shared the first slide. The
Yes.
second part you never read. Very interesting.
Okay. You want me to share it? This one?
It's not coming in yet.
But in that message, it says that we should not consider us and them. We have to be inclusive.
Is this
Exactly.
Not this, the one where, while we were reading for devotional. Just now you said.
all right? The devotion.
The one you read just now.
Okay.
The second part is very interesting.
Okay.
Number 8, I suppose. Sorry.
This one, the prophets should be regarded as is one.
Yes.
The prophets of God should be regarded as physicians whose task is to foster the well-being of the world and its people, that through the spirit of oneness, they may heal the sickness of divided humanity. Little wonder then if the treatment prescribed by the physician in this day should not be found to be identical with that which he prescribed before. How could it be otherwise when the ills affecting the sufferer necessitate at every stage of his sickness a special remedy? Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is no question about others and we. So we are all together in this enterprise.
Exactly, yeah.
We are working towards a common goal.
Yeah.
So we must have the inclusive mind. We must include everyone. We are working towards that goal, the ultimate goal. But we are going under a different direction. They are under a different administrative order.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to this passage which we read, perpetuation of the covenant. He says, in his will and testament, Abdul Baha perpetuated the covenant by laying down the provision for the administrative order ordained in Baha'u'llah's writing, thereby ensuring the continuation of authority and leadership through the twin institution and guardianship, and the universal house of justice, as well as a sound relationship between the individual institution within the faith. This is important. A sound relationship between the individual institution within the faith. Just now, Sister Yonga asked us about, do you believe in Pope? Of course, we believe in him. There is no question about it. How is the relationship within the believers and the Pope, the believers and the universal house? This is a covenant. It's a binding covenant. So we must look at this thing in a totality. We cannot isolate. Thank you.
Yeah, these three
Very good
go
point.
hand by hand.
Okay.
I think Pancho wanted to say something.
Who?
Is it Panjo? Somebody said something.
That was Yin. She said is a good point. Jung has been waiting. Let's listen to Jung.
Can I just ask you something? I view some documents on a TV about the necessity, the important things that we have to do is to review all the scriptures, especially religious scriptures of some religions. You can just pick them out and ask people to review the scriptures to see if the original teaching was correct or the translation were correct. Usually the rewriting of the scriptures and the review of the scriptures should be working in a group of at least 10 or 15 people around the table by the scholar level. I mean, like educational level got to be, like together, not like one too high and one too low. Then they got to do the scripture properly. And then, because in one of your writing, you said, in one of the writing you just read, I pick up something like the followers come to disagree on the meaning and application of the divine teachings. In the community of the faithful, sometime after that, it become divided into sects. So, I mean, when you make a point that God manifested himself to people, but to different level of intellectual capacity of people, and then people had to write down according to what they said, and then the historian pick it up and write it into scriptures. And in some country, like they have, like the emperor didn't like people to follow, just say, for example, Buddha scriptures. So they hid all the scriptures in a cave in the mountain. And then later on, somebody discovered, oh, there's a library in the mountain there, in a cave. And then they call all the English people to come and recover all the material documents, bring back to England, and look for translators to translate all the scriptures. So people can understand what Buddha has said, or had said, or said. And because when people are writing down, they don't know the level of intellectual or the level of skill, writing skills, they couldn't measure. So what I'm saying is, when we read it again today, we take our common sense and we take the important part, the main ideas of different scriptures. But if if some people are not educational enough, they wouldn't see the difference. Just like what I'm go back to the education of children. What you say, you want to build a capacity for the children to be able to read the manifestation words of God. But if they haven't got food to eat, and they in a tent, in a refugee camp, and they lost all their education, and not one kid, like million children at the moment suffering. So therefore, your path to create oneness of humanity will be like million years away, ahead from us. And I can only believe in oneness of humanity one day if we can cross the nations without a passport. I don't need a passport to go from my place to your country because you trust me. You look at me, you said, oh, she's okay. She can go to my nation, no security check.
Yes.
That's the word, to trust.
So that will be oneness.
We don't have that. We don't have that capacity yet.
Well,
Trustful.
we will need to create one.
Yes,
A
exactly.
new world order.
Yeah.
The new world order, you don't need passport, you don't need security, you don't need scammer, because everyone is honest.
Yes. Well, that's the capacity that we have to build. We
And
don't
we don't
have
have
it in this
spies.
world at the moment.
Okay, we don't have spies. Okay, so no scammers, no spy, no
But
silence.
I disagree with you that say that it could be millions of years from now. Because as I said, Berlin was separating two countries, two parts of one country. And within 1 week, it came down. So we don't know when the unity of mankind will happen. But we have to imagine that unity of mankind is inevitable. If we are progressing in science and our world is becoming like a village, there's no way, there's no other way. We have to unite. People are thinking of moving people to Mars to live there. So the world as a science, it shrunk the whole world. So there's no other way. That's the way we have to go. Either we destruct completely ourselves, or we will unite and become one people with those spiritual qualities, trustfulness.
But you can have similar-minded people. You know, the apparition of Virgin Mary, when she appeared to people, she appeared to the three shepherds. The three farmers, the baby farmer, not baby, but I mean like teenager farmers,
Yeah.
10 years old, 6 years old, and 10 years old, and 9 years old. So they children, you know.
Yeah, God is with us.
And whatever Virgin Mary talked to them, whatever, this is like scripture. Virgin Mary might give them some message like scriptures. And the kids didn't know how to write. They never learned how to write. So what they do, they come back to the village and they talk to the people, and people write things down. So how do you know, how you say that what the people writing down is correct of what Virgin Mary said?
Well, you know, the Queen Victoria received a message from Baha'u'llah, and he was a very clever woman. A queen read the message and said, if this is from God, it will perpetuate. If it's not from God, it will disappear. So whatever comes as a message to anybody that we assume is from God, if it perpetuates, it is from God. If it doesn't perpetuate, it's man-made and it will disappear. You know, there are a lot of these ecclesiastic people that come up and I don't know, I don't want to name somebody like Hare Krishna, for example, but some people that bring new faiths and their faith doesn't sustain itself, it disappears. So perpetuation of truth is trusted by God. If God wants to guide humanity, he will protect that word that comes. So that word would perpetuate in the society. Baha'u'llah says in his book of Certitude, if the word is from God, be assured that God will protect it. So I would say, if those things that those children received, it was from God, it will perpetuate in Christianity. And to some extent it has. So they have seen Mary. And I believe that other spiritual word is with us. Why not affect this world? It definitely is affecting this world. Abdullah says all the sciences that appear in this world is as a result of connection between the spiritual people in the other world and those people that bring to fruition those sciences in this world.
Okay, now, yes, we are.
What time is it? We're nearly there.
Yeah,
So what do you want to do with the second part of this?
yeah, no, we will find the time and then we can continue.
Okay. They talk about destruction, what's happening, the destruction that is happening,
Yes.
and they talk about ways of unity. And as I said, we have two options: destructiveness of the whole society, or coming together as a united world.
Yeah, we can find another time for the part 2, and it's good.
I wanted to say something.
Yes. Yes, Perimal.
The The thing is perpetuation of the covenant. Huh? What has happened in the past, they have left to the individual.
Well, no, actually, in
But
the beginning of the message, I didn't bring those sections, which is the historical sessions about revelation of the Baha'u'llah, and what Abdullah did, what Guardian did. I didn't bring that history in my talk because the talk was about transformation. But they're talking about covenant in those areas, covenant of God with humanity, and the revelation that has appeared. So, as you say, covenant is important. So it's the basis of our.
Let Perimal put his comment or question first.
Yeah, what has happened in the past is left to the individuals or group of people. Is not an institution. That is why there is a lot of division has taken place. Like for instance, now the Pope is telling me at one time that we can have same-sex marriage. Like in Islam, they have the fatwa and so on. But here they make it clear that it is the individual and the institution. The institution of the covenant is, for us, the universal house of justice will decide from time to time to translate the words of Baha'u'llah according to the needs of the time. It's not the individual. This is a lot, there's a big difference in it.
Yeah. Baha'u'llah established the institution administration. And so it's one of those three, I can't say that word correctly, protagonist group, the three, individual, society, and institutions. So the Baha'is are trying to build those three hand to hand together.
Yes. That is taking place, but we, in my opinion, that the other religious beliefs and systems are going to be there for a long period of time. And the task that we as a group in hand is how to bring the common understanding so that we can journey together in transforming individually ourselves and society as one, not necessarily as Baha'is or Buddhists or Muslims. We're distinguishing one and establishing its superiority or the other one can bring about
disunity.
Yes. So the critical task that we have as a community that we meet here and talk is to how to bring the common understanding. Another letter that we received that was the 30th of December 2021, the House said that we are asked to have the advocate tolerance and understanding, and with inherent oneness of humanity uppermost in their mind, they view everyone as a potential partner to collaborate with. And they also asked us to harmonize perspectives and transcend differences and promote the use of consultation for making decisions. And we always have in our PowerPoint presentation another quotation from the House. It says that whether by words or deeds, the merit of our contribution to the well-being of society lies first in our resolute commitment to discover the precious point of unity among contrasting perspectives around which contending peoples can coalesce. So I think we should keep that in our mind in every conversation and every action that we do, whether in this forum or outside in our life. There are bound to be many different views in any issues that we talk about. And if we are trying to bring about unity and peace, the merit of what we do and say lies in trying to get the precious point of unity. I think that is very key to that. And I thank Ahmad for his. It's a very big letter that he has actually gone and gleaned that is relevant for the individual society and institutions. And he has prepared a long PowerPoint presentation, and we will have another continuation of this one in another session. Probably, I suggest maybe after reading one or two slides, we will have a discussion around those before we go into the next one. In that way, we may have a better understanding of what we are trying to learn from those. And I also thank Jung for, this is the beauty of Jung's participation is that she gathers almost everything that is said. I find it very difficult to grasp everything the presenter says. This one I could because I have already read part of it, but other presentation I don't. But the beauty of Jung is that it doesn't matter who presents what. She actually grasps everything, and she asks questions from those things, and it makes this discussion lively. So I thank you, Jung, for contribution.
Siva, can I compliment your talks and say that the word of God will never disappear, like Quran will not never disappear, Bible will not disappear from the world, okay? But the perspective, understanding of the writings of the word would change time to time. You know, in the past, they had a different meaning. Now it has a different meaning. In future, it will have a different meaning for the people that live at the time. So those words of God will never disappear.
Mhm.
But the perspective, understanding will change in such a way that would unite mankind.
Yes.
Like, you know, us as a Baha'is, we believe we are Christian, we believe that we are Muslim, but in the extent of the perspective, understanding of those writings. Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And the
And
thing that I made, can I please add on something important? The
yes,
thing that you said the word of God will never disappear if it's true. That's what you imply. But with the children that experience Fatima, when they get Virgin Mary talking to them, they come back to the village, police sees them and give them a very hard time. And they had to tell the police what's going on. And police didn't believe them, whether what Virgin Mary told them is true or not. So that happened very often to the people before they get martyred. They always get tortured. Even they said, I met God. God told me, God manifested to me. But anyway, they got tortured and they got martyred. So what you said will leave room for the people who've been accused wrongly, just because they receive the manifestations of God.
Well, they didn't tolerate them. I know the story. It happened in Italy, I think, or Sicily or something like that. I don't exactly know. The three kids saw Virgin Mary, and she talked with them. and they brought the message of Mary to the village. And that area, that place has become a very sacred place. People go for pilgrimage to that area. I've read the story. But looking at the whole concept of word of God that manifestations of God have brought, they have power. They change the society. The word of God that Christ brought changed the society. After 300 years, the whole world of the time became Christian. So, the effect of that word is important. Perpetuation of that word is important.
Thank you. So the miracle do help transformation of society then.
Yeah, what you have to have in mind that there are certain things that are superstitions and certain things are reality of the word of God. So a lot of people are lingered with those superstitions, like for example, saying Christ will come through a cloud. Science today says that a human body cannot stand on clouds. So that's a misunderstanding of those words of Bible that Christ will come through over a cloud. Yeah. So they have meanings that are taken literally, and as a result, cause conflict and division in the society. So we have to divide superstition from or bad interpretation of words of God from true meaning of the word of God. But for this forum, my suggestion is that we have to base our unity in the qualities, the spiritual qualities that are common in all the faiths of the world.
Thank you. And I think we have past 9 here.
Yeah, exactly. 5 past.
So thank you, everyone, and we will see
Thank you, Ahmad.
next week. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you,
Ave
Ahmed.
Maria.